The party was beginning to die down when I realized she was missing. Neighbors trickled out with half-finished drinks, tossing casual goodbyes into the night air. The Bluetooth speaker on the deck still hummed with low music, while the string lights above the yard, one we'd poured 5 years of marriage into, swayed gently in the breeze. She's probably just inside. A little too drunk, I told myself. It was our annual spring gathering. Friends, co-workers, neighbors. Usually, I look forward to it. But this year felt different. Jenna had been acting strangely for a while. Distant, preoccupied. She wore her wedding ring and smiled when needed, but something in her eyes didn't reach me anymore. Still, I pushed the doubt away. I always did. Until that night, I found her upstairs, lying across the guest bed. One heel still on, her hair in tangles, reeking of red wine and a scent that definitely wasn't haze. Her phone buzzed beside her on the carpet. Another late-night message she forgot to mute. I bent down, picked it up, and set it on the dresser. She stirred. "Sure," I whispered. "It's just me. I'm going to help you lie down." She squinted up at me, then wrapped an arm lazily around my neck in a clumsy half-embrace. I caught her as she almost rolled off the mattress. Then, as I gently eased her head onto the pillow, she murmured, "Leave me alone. Clark, my husband might find us. There are people outside." My heart didn't race. It stopped. She passed out moments later, unaware of what she'd just said. But I had heard it, every word. Clark, in our home, during our party. She said another man's name without hesitation. Not in anger, not in guilt. Just naturally, as if I were the intruder. I stood there, motionless, not breathing, not blinking, for what felt like an eternity. And in that stillness, something inside me broke, not loudly, but with quiet finality. The version of me that had excused the distance, that had ignored the signs, that had believed in her. He died in that moment. I didn't yell. I didn't shake her awake. I just turned around, left the room, and closed the door behind me. Chapter 2, The Quiet Before the Storm. I didn't sleep. Instead, I sat in the living room, shrouded in darkness. The fridge hummed softly in the kitchen. The only other sound was the slow, steady ticking of the wall clock. And above me, through the floorboards, came the occasional, uneven rhythm of her drunken breathing. She'd said Clark like it was nothing, like I wasn't real. And that stung more than any fight or betrayal could have. It wasn't a slip of the tongue. It was a truth. The kind that leaks out when someone believes no one is listening, when they think they are safe. But Jenna wasn't safe anymore. By morning, I had already decided how I would handle it. No screaming. No scenes. She stumbled into the kitchen, her face pale and her eyes bloodshot. She clutched her head. "How did I end up in bed?" she mumbled. "Did the party run late? Ooh, my head is killing me." I played it cool, calm. The mask was back on. But beneath it, something much darker had begun to take shape. I gave her a small smile. "You had a bit too much to drink. I brought you upstairs." She kissed my cheek absent-mindedly and darted off to the bathroom, never noticing how intensely I was watching her retreating figure. But that didn't bother me, because I was finished playing the loving husband. Now, I was something else entirely, the designer of her undoing. Step 1, uncover the ghost. I didn't ask questions. I didn't demand explanations. I just started digging. It didn't take long to find him. Clark was real. A married man. Someone from our shared social circle. A colleague she'd started working with over a year ago through a major client account. I'd shaken his hand at a barbecue, handed him a cold drink from my own cooler. And all the while, he was sleeping with my wife. I found texts, buried threads, and hidden apps. WhatsApp messages cloaked in alias names. Albums behind locked passwords. But that was just the surface. There were hotel bookings, online orders for gifts I'd never seen, ride-share logs, private browser histories. She tried to cover her tracks, changing contact names, deleting threads. But I've worked in data security for over a decade. She had no idea how traceable her life really was. Step 2, building the fire. I gathered it all, organized every bit of evidence into a digital archive labeled her reality. Screenshots, timestamps, Money transfers, pictures, audio clips, pulled from old call backups on our shared devices. Then I got bold. I started sending emails. Anonymous ones, at first, to Clark's wife. She replied. Her message was simple, and it said everything. You're not the only one planning an exit. Let's make sure they don't get to shape the narrative. Step 3. The calm before the collapse. 2 weeks later, I invited Jenna to sit down with me at the kitchen table. Casual. Controlled. You've seemed different lately, I said. Anything you want to talk about? She paused, glanced at her phone, then gave a practice sigh. Work's just been intense. The Simmons project a mess. Clark's team is running me into the ground. I nodded slowly. I get it. Let me know if you need support. She gave me a grateful smile, like I was still the man she could lie to without fear. Chapter 4. The Fall Before the Fire. 2 weeks after that, I suggested a weekend escape. Just the two of us. A secluded lake house I'd reserved through a friend. Quiet. Remote. Romantic. Jenna lit up. Wow, you're really trying, huh? I smiled warmly. Always. She had no idea I'd already filed for divorce on the grounds of infidelity. No clue I had full records of her bank transfers to Clark, every digital footprint documented and saved. And she definitely didn't know that Maria, Clark's wife, and I had been meeting regularly, comparing notes, building a carefully coordinated trap designed to bring their fantasy world crashing down. The cabin was real, but it was also wired. A camera was hidden behind the living room mirror. Mics embedded in the bedroom. Every movement, every word would be captured. Before leaving the main house that night, I sent Clark a message from Jenna's burner phone. He was out of town. One night. Just us. And like the fool he was, he came. I watched it all from the guest cabin surveillance feed. He strolled in carrying wine, grinning like a schoolboy. Jenna's face froze in panic the second she saw him. Clark? What the hell are you doing here? He looked confused. Didn't you text me? She went pale, looked around. That's when the ceiling speakers kicked on. My voice echoed through the room. Hey, Clark. Hey, Jenna. Welcome to the last night you get to lie without consequences. Jenna screamed. Clark went stiff. I didn't rush in. I didn't need to. Everything was being auto-uploaded to a secure cloud drive, programmed to forward copies to HR at Jenna's firm, HR at Clark's company, Maria, Jenna's sister, and the friends who always wondered why I stayed so quiet. Her phone blew up with desperate messages in the following days, all variations of the same plea. Please, let's talk. It's not what it looks like. I didn't reply. I blocked her. And Clark? I blocked him too, right after sending him a PDF of the pre-signed legal complaint for workplace misconduct. Maria filed her divorce 2 days later. Her divorce paperwork went through swiftly, stacked with everything she didn't expect I'd have. Every document, every image, every call log, curated and cross-referenced by me. Neat. Bulletproof. Delivered straight to her lawyer by mine. They say the true opposite of love isn't hatred. It's apathy. And that's where I landed with Jenna. I didn't burn for revenge anymore. I didn't even feel anger. What remained was space. A cold, unbridgeable distance. One that didn't just sever a marriage, but reshaped who I was. Her world didn't explode right away. It quietly cracked. Then, suddenly, it collapsed. Clark was the first to fall. HR didn't wait. Once the complaint landed, they pulled archived messages, flagged improper expenses, and walked him out of the office before the week was done. No warning. No dignity. Just a box and an escort. Maria, his wife, didn't scream. She didn't even raise her voice. She handed him divorce papers the same weekend and moved out without saying another word. Jenna's exit was more delicate, more staged. Her company didn't fire her, technically. They asked for her resignation behind closed doors, trying to avoid a wider scandal. She tried to rewrite the story, of course. Said I trapped her, accused me of emotional cruelty, claimed I manufactured it all out of spite. But stories lose power when receipts speak louder. When her co-workers saw the dates. When her family saw the videos. When her friends realized I had simply recorded what she'd already done. The fallout was complete. She lost her position. her standing, the social circle she once clung to. The divorce was signed with barely a whisper. No objections, no drama. The prenup she used to joke about? It shielded everything I'd built. I kept the home, the company, the car. She left with enough to survive a few months in a zip code she used to sneer from the passenger seat of my SUV. The last time I laid eyes on her was during the final mediation. She didn't look at me, just stared down at the desk. I slid a folder toward her. Inside, one printed image, a freeze frame from the video, her slurring someone else's name in our bed, under our roof. She didn't open it. She didn't need to. As for me, I took my time rebuilding. Quietly, intentionally. No rebounds. No noise. I focused on healing, therapy, reconnecting with old friends. I learned how to be alone again. It was hard, sure, but it was peaceful, and it was mine. Eventually, I met someone new. A mutual friend introduced us. She wasn't flashy. She didn't pretend. No lies. No masks. I told her everything, start to finish. She listened, thought about it, then said something I'll never forget. She didn't break you. She exposed who you really are, and is stronger. If there's one lesson in all of this, it's simple. Never strike while you're angry. Strike when you're calm, clear, armed with truth. And once it lands, don't linger. Don't gloat. Just walk away. Because the sharpest revenge isn't setting fire to someone's world. It's letting them realize they lit the match, and you're not even around to watch the ashes. Was it justified? That's up to you. If this story gripped you, hit that subscribe, tap like, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. We've got more real, spine-tingling tales of betrayal and justice on the way. Your support brings these stories to life. Thank you for being part of Lauren's story, where every secret casts a shadow and every betrayal leaves an echo.